Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a major new project at the Port of Victoria is setting jobs and a cleaner kind of energy to the region.
A manhunt is underway after two suspects fled in a stolen trunk in Brubaker County.
Plus, new security measures are being added to the Field of Honor. What's behind the upgrades?
Well, we're not quite over the severe weather threat yet, but we'll be talking about that coming up in weather.
Continuing your high school baseball playoff coverage, and this time we're going to Victoria West. See how these athletes plan on battling Henderson in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie.
And I'm Brubaker. Honoring our veterans is at the heart of the Warriors Weekend Field of Honor. After years of theft and vandalism, organizers making changes.
25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman joins us to explain how the changes are about making sure that the focus stays on the gratitude and remembrance. Amaya?
Yes, as Warriors Weekend is getting ready to celebrate its 19th year of honoring wounded veterans and fallen heroes. Over the years, the Field of Honor has experienced theft and minor vandalism, with the display now growing to nearly 1,800 flags. The organization is putting in a new security measures to ensure the flags and memorial remains untouched. Organizers are installing a 15-camera security system across the Field of Honor, including the observation deck and surrounding memorials.
Things that used to be sacred are no longer sacred anymore, and so we've only had a handful of things happen out here. You know, a couple of flags have gone missing, you know, or maybe some ratchet straps, you know, taken from inside when we were doing some repairs. Minor stuff, but you know, we want to keep that. We want to absolutely bring that down to zero.
Colonel Mike emphasized that these flags aren't just symbols. They are stories of service, sacrifice, and the families who have endured alongside their loved ones. Organizers say the new system will allow for a 24/7 live stream of the field, with remote access for those who want to pay their respect from afar. As preparations are underway for this year's Warrior Weekend, the focus remains clear: honor the heroes and protect their legacy. Shawna and Don, back to you.
Well, the Port of Victoria is welcoming a new industry. First Ammonia is getting ready to break ground on a green ammonia plant. Green ammonia is made from water and air, making what First Ammonia representatives call a clean fuel alternative. Some global industries are moving to clean energy sources for transport and plant power. First Ammonia CEO Joel Moser says there are multiple reasons they chose Victoria as the site of this new development.
The primary reason that we're in Victoria is because of the people that welcomed us, that have supported us and continue to support us. There is an intellectual infrastructure in Victoria which supports our ambitions. We think Victoria is the ideal place. This will be the beginning of a new industry, and Victoria will be where it will be based.
Moser says groundbreaking on the project will take place this year. The new plant will create anywhere from 50 to 100 permanent jobs after a multi-year construction. So this brings us to our viewer poll today. What benefit do you think a green ammonia plant could bring to Victoria? Is it creating more jobs, cleaner environment, economic growth for the area, or are you unsure? We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And more jobs bumped up a little bit since earlier. Kind of has been wavering, but now at 58%. Not sure is behind that at 26%. So thank you for voting. Well, it's time to go outside now and check our weather.
Let's go to Jacob Lozano with a first look at the forecast. Jacob, about 24 hours ago it was raining here. When do we get our next rain? 24 hours from now?
Yes, we're in the next 24 hours. We'll be seeing some more rain in our area. Now, we did have clear skies today, 72 degrees. Winds have died down at about southeast at 7 miles per hour, but the humidity is rising back up, and it was a bit of a warm, humid day. We're going to see that again here tomorrow. 85 degrees was our high for today, but we have that front line that is stalled out. Get a couple showers there around Del Rio, but we're actually going to be watching an upper level disturbance move down. It's going to be causing some severe weather here along the Rio Grande Valley, and honestly, we're a part of that as a marginal risk for severe weather, but we'll be talking about what we could see here coming up in the full weather report. Shawna?
A strong storm slammed New Orleans this morning, knocking out power, flooding roads, and causing damage across the area. Before sunrise, wind gusts near tropical storm strength pushed water onto the lakefront walkway, while drivers battled blinding rain, especially on raised highways and bridges. Across the river, powerful straight-line winds knocked over power poles in Marrero and Harvey, Louisiana. Flooding was a major issue, with parts of southern Louisiana getting up to 7 inches of rain in just 2 days.
Recent trends suggest the Atlantic hurricane season could begin earlier than usual this year. Now, the official season runs from June 1st through November 30th, but forecast models point to possible early storm development in the Western Caribbean. At least one named storm has formed before June in 7 of the last 10 years. That's a pattern linked to unusually warm waters. The National Hurricane Center now begins issuing outlooks in mid-May because of that growing trend. Lavaca County authorities are looking for 2 men who fled during a traffic stop. Deputies stopped a truck in between Shiner and Moulton that had stolen out of Brazoria County. The driver then drove the truck through multiple barbed wire fences until finally coming to a stop in a pasture. 2 men were seen running away. DPS state troopers and Texas game wardens joined the search, along with drones and tracking dogs. The 2 men are still on the loose and are believed to have discarded some of their clothing. They are both described as being in their late 20s, each less than 6 feet tall. Any suspicious activity should be reported to the Lavaca County Sheriff's Office.
An urgent manhunt underway for a man accused of murder, now believed to be on the run for days. U.S. Marshals have joined the search for 32-year-old Trevor McEwen, accused of killing his neighbor in 2023. He was set to stand trial for capital murder this week, but instead he disappeared. Firefighters found a burning barn and his ankle monitor 70 miles east of Dallas, but no sign of McEwen. The victim's family is heartbroken, saying it feels like they're reliving the tragedy. Authorities say McEwen is likely on the move, and they are urging anyone with information to come forward. More than 1,000 measles cases have been reported across the U.S. this year, according to state health departments. That makes it the second worst year since 2000, the year measles was declared eliminated in the U.S. Most of the cases are tied to an outbreak in West Texas that is now spreading to New Mexico, Oklahoma, and possibly Kansas. The CDC says nearly all of the people infected were not vaccinated. So far, 3 people have died from measles this year. That's as many as the total deaths from the virus in the last 20 years combined. The last time we saw case numbers this high was back in 2019 during major outbreaks in New York City and nearby suburbs.
President Trump's economic plans are putting pressure on the Federal Reserve, raising this question: should it hold rates steady, raise them due to inflation, or cut them to counter the impact of new tariffs?
The benchmark rate remains between 4.25 and 4.5%. That's unchanged since December. The Fed just wrapped up its 2-day policy meeting. Laura Aguirre has the Fed chair's update.
Well, he should lower them, and at some point he will.
But Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is not at that point yet.
Today, the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged.
Powell is going to speak the truth as he sees it about the economy. He's not going to be bullied by Trump.
Ken Rogoff is an economics and public policy professor at Harvard. He says he can see why the Fed is holding rates steady, despite President Donald Trump's aggressive sweeping tariff announcements that have dragged down global trade and rattled the stock market.
The risks of higher unemployment and higher inflation appear to have risen, and we believe that the current stance of monetary policy leaves us well positioned to respond in a timely way to potential economic developments.
Mixed signals that can increase uncertainty with economists and consumers.
I mean, prices are going to go up. The surveys, the confidence, everything looks like it's more than 50% it'll be a recession.
Many are closely watching the Trump administration for any signs of trade deals, especially with China. Later this week, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer will meet with Chinese officials in Switzerland.
The president always wants the Fed to cut rates. Let's understand this.
President Trump's quest for lower rates has had him muse in the past about moving to replace Powell before the Fed chair's term ends next year, a tone he softened this week.
I'm not, I get to change him very quickly anyway. It's in a very short period of time.
A short period of time that will see many more Federal Reserve meetings and rate decisions. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
The market had a mixed reaction after Chairman Powell's announcement, with all three major indexes eventually closing in the green. The Rotary Club of Port Lavaca is celebrating 100 years of serving the community. The group is known for its service, whether it's growing local economies, promoting peace, or protecting the environment. Longtime Port Lavaca resident Russell Kane has been part of the club for 46 years, even holding the position of district governor. Kane says the club hosts many different events, such as golf tournaments, flag projects, and a few fundraisers. The money that's raised from those events goes right back into the community.
Rotary means a lot to me. It tells you really how you build your character and how you help somebody in business.
The 1.2 million member Rotary organization began with a simple idea from a Chicago attorney in 1905 to bring together professionals from different backgrounds to share ideas and build lasting friendships. The name Rotary came from the group's original habit of rotating meetings between members' offices.
Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Cuero Record. Texas First Lady Cecilia Abbott honors Cuero's Main Street program, and illegal tire and trash dumping is costing DeWitt County taxpayers. You can read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com.
And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, secrecy, tradition, and high drama as cardinals gather to choose the next pope. We'll take a look at what really happens behind the closed doors of the conclave.
Also ahead, an incident in central Louisiana prompts emergency crews and school closures. What's behind the response? As we speak in the Vatican City, cardinals are convening in a gathering called the Conclave to decide who their next pope will be.
Technically, any male Catholic can be elected into this position, but traditionally the next Catholic leader will be one of the College of Cardinals taking part in this election. Maribel Gonzalez breaks down what this highly secretive process entails.
In Latin, the word conclave means with key, a process that describes what 133 cardinals are undergoing right now, sealed off from the world, to decide who will lead the Catholic Church next.
They say an oath that they are choosing the candidate they think the Lord has most desired to be the next pope, so that this is not just a question of personal preference, but judgment.
Up to 4 times a day, the College of Cardinals will cast their ballots in a secretive manner. Counting the votes are 3 cardinals randomly selected, called scrutineers.
They are seating right below Michelangelo's depiction of the Last Judgment. So you can imagine the drama that is involved. After each ballot has been called out, they actually put a needle through a piece of thread through the ballot, through the very word in Latin, I elect.
If a 2/3 majority is not reached, these ballots are burned with black smoke emanating from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel, and the process continues. Campaigning during this time is not encouraged, though. In the days leading up to the conclave, the cardinals assembled, getting to know one another and their thoughts on the church's direction.
Does he have people skills? Is he a good pastoral leader? What's his theology? 80% of the cardinal electors are cardinals appointed by Pope Francis. So the hope, of course, is that we'll have another pope that will carry on his campaign for the renewal of the church.
White smoke will alert the world that the cardinals have chosen their new pope. Inside, the Catholic leader will choose what he wishes to be called, then escorted into what is known as the Room of Tears to change into his papal vestment or robes and accessories.
Legend says that many people who have been freshly elected as pope just break down weeping at the magnitude that has just been initiated upon them.
The newly elected pope will be introduced, his identity and leadership forever marking history.
Anything can happen. That's really true. You know, they say the cardinal who goes into the conclave thinking he's going to be pope comes out a cardinal.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
A train derailed this morning near Moroville in central Louisiana, affecting over 30 cars and prompting a hazmat response. No injuries were reported, but 2 nearby schools closed as a precaution. Canadian Pacific's hazmat team is leading the cleanup of hazardous chemicals. Crews are expecting to complete the cleanup in the next several days. The cause of the derailment is still under investigation by Louisiana State Police and environmental officials.
Graduation season is here, and we're celebrating the class of 2025 right alongside you. We congratulate Gavin from Calhoun High School. Message to him: congratulations, grandson. May God bless you in all that you do now and in the future. I'm so proud of you and your accomplishments. Love you mucho, from Grandma Lori. And congratulations to Jazzy from Victoria East High School. We made it, but the journey isn't over. Wishing you a bright and adventurous future. Overcome whatever life throws at you. Love you, from Juliet Salinas. Plus a shout out to Matthew, who is graduating from Victoria Success Academy. Congratulations, Matthew Santiago Nunez. Love Momo, Popo, and Tia. We'll submit a photo and heartfelt message for your grad through June 13th. We'll feature our area grads on air and on social media. Just go to our contest page at crossroadstoday.com, click the entertainment tab, then select contest to submit and show your pride. It doesn't have to be high school, it can be college,
That's right.
Trade school, anyone who's graduating.
That's right. Send them in. We'll put them on the air. And here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. Calhoun County voters turned down a hospital district proposal, and the Texas Mid-Coast Birding Festival takes flight in Port Lavaca. You can read these stories and more at portlavacawave.com.
Severe weather is not out of the question here for tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about that coming up after the break. quite a hot and humid day here in the Crossroads, and we're currently sitting at 72 degrees with clear skies, with that humidity is once again rising again. We're going to see kind of that same pattern here as we start tomorrow morning, but 85 degrees is what we got up to. We'll be around that once again tomorrow, but this will be a little difference. We're going to see some rain. We're looking at that stalled front boundary that moved in here last night that brought us those rain showers. That's actually going to retreat a little bit, give us some more scattered, isolated thunderstorms to begin to pop up with that sea breeze, but we're actually going to be looking, it's going to be higher up in the atmosphere. It's not at the surface. These are all surface maps, but it's going to be an upper level disturbance that's going to be moving down, and that's going to be giving us a bit of a convective system over our Rio Grande Valley area, but that high pressure system is going to be soon following, giving us some cooler weather, and then we'll start to see some, well, above average weather. We'll say that. Now, there's that slight risk of severe weather where we start to see some large hail. Can't necessarily rule out a tornado within this area around Webb County, but we are under a marginal risk where we can't rule out a little bit of hail as well, depending on the isolated thunderstorm that decides to make its way into our area. Now, we'll be taking a look at that right now. Radar-wise, a couple of thunderstorms that had popped up around Rock Springs. Those are going to be dissipating as the night progresses. Probably by the time it gets towards I-10, towards Kerrville, it'll be dissipating. And we're not looking at much here. We aren't going to be seeing anything really here tonight until we start to see all that shift begin tomorrow. Now, the HRRR model will be waking up with a little bit of cloud cover here. Now, this model has been taking things a little bit aggressive, so I'm laying back on a lot of this. Now, we got some thunderstorms moving up here out of the coastline once that front line begins to retreat on us. So we'll start to see those sea breeze showers begin to pop up with that daytime heating. Now noted, we are in Victoria over there, and we're going to be looking towards the Dilley area. Right around 3-4 o'clock, we're going to see that little convective system that is making its way down start to pop up around Uvalde, and it's going to be pushing its way down towards us here by 7 p.m. tomorrow night, and there it is, 8 p.m. We'll start to see some convective stuff. Now, I said it's taking it pretty aggressive on the severity side, so we're going to have a possible alert day for this just in case we start to see any change within the next coming hours here in the Crossroads. But Friday morning, we're going to be seeing those showers and thunderstorms really begin to dissipate, and that's going to be kind of it for us here. Now, the European model has taken it not as aggressive, but there's that convective system. It's actually got it pretty far south into Mexico, and it'll be moving straight through Corpus Christi here right around midnight. But we are going to see possibly those isolated showers coming into play here within the noontime frame. And honestly, that's it. No more rain after that. Now, tomorrow morning, bit humid, 70 degrees as we'll be waking up to, with the upper 60s there farther north. And we'll be getting up into the mid 80s, maybe some high 80s. We'll be pushing that 90-degree heat index value with all the humidity that's going on. And by 5 p.m., we'll be at 77 degrees. Now, Friday morning, we'll be in the 70s, high 60s once again. Temperatures will be, well, in the low 80s for that. Now, the mugginess will drop down as we go in through the weekend, but we'll be watching it as it begins to rise back up. Now, for your daily planner in Port Lavaca, we're going to be looking at showers here tomorrow, as well as Cuero. We could see some showers. And Victoria, that's when we're going to start to see the bulk of it. It's all going to be around the nighttime time frame. But those next 7 days, let's just say, cooler temperatures for the weekend, just in time for Mother's Day. We might get to 59 there Sunday morning, but look at that, 90, 91. We're going to get westerly winds that are going to be fueling a lot more heat. Now, don't forget to scan the QR code for more news, weather, and sports. And speaking of sports, here's Ray.
Thank you, Jacob. It's time to hear from the Victoria West Warriors. See what they have to say before their big matchup against Hendrickson coming up in sports. All right, Crossroads, let's talk about the Victoria West Warriors for your high school baseball playoff preview. The Warriors is a team whose season saw them run through the competition, finishing second in their district. The Warriors opened up with a sweep against Galena Park, and now their next challenge awaits them tomorrow. Number 2 in their district as well. The Warriors have been a team that's known to show a lot of grit on the mound, and that was apparent after talking to a few of the players before they practiced today. Before folks of Victoria start hitting the Riverside Stadium on Thursday to witness the first game of the series, which sees the Victoria West Warriors battle Hendrickson for the area championship, it's important to know that the Warriors' level of play from the regular season to the postseason is one that has adjusted well, according to these players.
Well, we just attack the strike zone. That's one thing. Then hitting-wise, just don't get 0-2. Attack the first 2 pitches.
I guess the first goal was to dominate the district, and that's what we did. You know, East, you know, it was still, we got to go to game 3, so we were definitely there with them. Being able to compete, you know, that was really big. Deal with diet.
And although the district didn't test the Warriors as much, their plans for tomorrow is just one of the examples to show how focused they are.
So first, obviously dominating on the mound, giving the team the best chance to win. You know, it all starts off with me, and then batting in the leadoff spot, being able to, you know, draw like give the pitcher a bunch of pitches to throw, getting on base, and then obviously, again, back at the mound, you know, dominating to give the best chance to win.
Lower velocity and pitching, really. We just have to sit back and go the other way.
All right, and continuing your baseball coverage, the Ganado Indians baseball team will be down in Sinton for their area championship matchup against Three Rivers. All games will be down in Sinton. Game 1 is Thursday at 5 p.m. And 30 minutes after Game 1, we'll see Game 2. Ganado's opponents in Three Rivers finished first in their district and swept their first-round opponents, so Ganado will definitely have their work cut out for them. And speaking of the Ganado Indians, let's talk about the football team. There you see them with Texas House of Representative A.J. Louderback and the Indians with their fresh new hardware of rings that they received last week at their sports banquet. The Indians were honored with a resolution today. And big news coming out of Jerry Rose. That's right, Crossroad. I'm sure you've heard it by now. And that's the Steelers wide receiver George Pickens is now being traded to the Dallas Cowboys. He now joins CeeDee Lamb to make a dangerous receiving duo. They will send a 2026 third-round pick, a 2027 fifth-round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers for Pickens and a 2027 sixth-round pick. Pickens finished his last season in Pittsburgh catching for 900 yards, averaging 15.3 yards a possession. So one can only wonder what those numbers will look like in a Cowboys uniform. But that does it for your sports. Don?
Ray, thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, new research uncovers a surprising journey for T-Rex's ancient relatives. Actually, T-Rex ate the family tree.
Let's pass out together. You box like when you're making films.
Yeah. I was boxing in my last movie with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah. You were boxing with Chris Hemsworth, or while you were making?
I beat up Thor.
A new study suggests T-Rex's ancestors may have been globetrotters, dino style. Researchers now think these prehistoric predators made their way to North America by crossing a land bridge from Asia about 70 million years ago. Back then, Siberia and Alaska were connected. Using some serious math, paleontologists figured out that these early T-Rex relatives were probably more closely tied to Asian predators than the ones already stomping around North America. Here's the cool part. They likely bulked up fast during a global cool down, and there may still be fossils hiding out in Asia waiting to be found.
Amazing, yeah. As Cardinals in Rome begin the conclave to elect a new pope, students in Chicago got a taste of that sacred duty. Tuesday, fourth graders at Our Lady of Mount Carmel Academy held a mock conclave, dressing as cardinals, campaigning, even voting. After multiple rounds and a snack break, white smoke finally rose, announcing Augie Wilk as Pope Augustine. The project taught kids about faith, leadership, and a little politics too.
That snack break is very important.
Yeah, and they were not Cardinals very long because most of them are Cubs fans, you know, so they didn't want to really mix too much. And as we're waiting for the white smoke, we're also waiting for maybe more clouds up there that aren't smoke, but they may bring rain.
Yes, we are looking at a little bit of rain. We're going to see, well, a little bit of rain. We're actually looking at some rain. We're going to see around midnight or midday into 2 o'clock, we'll see some isolated thunderstorms come off the Gulf Coast, but looking at 7, 8 o'clock where we start to see a little mesoscale convective system move on down along the Rio Grande Valley, and may see some rain along with that as it makes its way towards Corpus, but it's looking like we'll start to get some outer showers along with that as well. But Mother's Day is looking pretty nice for us. 82, be 59 in the morning, and then 90 degrees.
So tomorrow morning would be the best time to get out and about if you need to.
Tomorrow morning, go do what you need to do. There won't be any rain.
All right. Well, it is time to shine a light on the people who will soon be helping patients in their time of need. Tomorrow is National Student Nurses Day. Registered nurses usually have to complete a 4-year program to receive a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. The American Nurses Association has backed the nursing profession since 1896, and they hold celebrations to recognize the work nurses do for their respective communities. Medical officials say the need for more nurses increases every year. Wow. So a big thank you, or a little early, to all of our nursing students here in the Victoria area.
Absolutely. 25 News Now, sunrise at 5 a.m. Jimmy Kimmel Live starts now.